Our story begins in 1957, where we can see a youth camp. A counselor named Hope Elder dials a number from a landline. She starts talking to the person in front of her and says that she is having some dreams, and the number she has dialed, she had seen in her dreams. The number was found carved on the snow, and some boys had done this in her dreams. But she wants to know who she is talking to right now and whose number this is. Then the line disconnects with a loud voice, which scares Hope a lot. Now the story comes to 1982. We see Finn inside the school, who is beating a new boy because that boy had told him that Finn has killed a serial killer, but he does not believe it. Then Finn's sister Gwen comes and stops him and takes him away. Gwen asks Finn the reason for beating that boy, about which he tells her in detail. Gwen says that it was not necessary to hit him so much, but Finn had changed a lot and he feels it is necessary. In fact, the one he had killed 4 years ago, the grabber, he had started becoming exactly like him. Now in the meantime, Robin's brother Ernesto, who was the victim of the grabber, asks Gwen to go to a show, on which she agrees. Finn tells Gwen that this is a date. She agrees that yes, it is a date. Now they both come home, where their father Terrence was waiting for them. They say goodnight to their father and go to sleep. After they leave, Finn starts smoking weed and suddenly sees the grabber in front of him. The grabber is not really there, but Finn can see him because of the trauma and rage inside him. Finn tells him that if he touches him again, he will scratch his face, which he has done before. The grabber is inside his iconic mask. Gwen comes out and does not see the grabber. She understands Finn's issue and tells him that if he wants, he can talk about it, but he refuses and says everything is fine. It is clear that Finn still had the fear of the grabber inside him. Now these two siblings go to sleep, and Gwen has a dream. Dreams that are coming to Gwen are of Alpine Lake, where some children come inside a built-up war camp. There was a kid in a yellow jacket among these children, who someone follows and kills very badly. That kid writes the letter W on the frozen ice and then sinks into it. The boy was killed, but his spirit is now coming in Gwen's dream, giving a hint about the W alphabet. Gwen hears a phone ringing in her dream, which was ringing somewhere in her neighborhood. She starts going out, but the shocking thing is that her body also starts moving out of the house. The phone of the hall was not ringing outside. She tries to go out of the house, but then Finn comes and asks her where she is going, and she comes out of her dream. Her body was also cold, meaning she was doing a kind of astral projection. She tells Finn that a phone was ringing, but he says it's not like that and maybe she was sleepwalking. He takes her back to bed. The next day, Gwen is in school, and Ernesto comes to talk to her. Gwen was reading a book about supernatural things, so he asks if she is interested in ghosts and spirits. She says yes, she is interested in all kinds of supernatural things. Ernesto gives her show tickets, which makes her happy. He also gives her lottery cards, which are like tarot cards. Gwen says that if they are used correctly, they can show things and even the future. Ernesto says that Gwen can also see things in her dreams. She asks how he knows, and he tells her he found out from his parents. Gwen says she doesn't like to talk about it because people will think she is strange. Ernesto flirts with her and says he likes strange things.
I don't like talking about that.
Why not?
Meanwhile, Finn sees a black phone in the market that was ringing. He picks it up and says, "Sorry, there will be no help here," and hangs up. Calls were not new for him, but now he wants to stay away from that horror that traumatized him. At night, Gwen has another dream. She sees another boy in the same camp, whom a man catches and kills brutally, cutting him into pieces and burning him. The boy's soul is in the lake, writing the letter B on the frozen snow before sinking. Suddenly, the phone rings and Gwen wakes up. Her spirit leaves her body again, and she goes outside, finding the burnt boy's body near the grabber's apartment. She goes into the basement of the grabber's apartment, where a phone is ringing. When she answers it, it's Hope Adler. Yes, the same woman we saw at the beginning of the movie in 1957. Hope is no one else but Gwen's mother, who is no longer alive. Hope tells Gwen that she is speaking from Alpine Lake Youth Camp, and in her dreams, the boys had carved this number on the frozen lake, the number of this house. Gwen says the same boys are watching her too, but she can only see the alphabet instead of numbers. Before they can talk more, the line disconnects with a satanic voice. Somewhere the timelines were connecting. Whenever someone does astral projection, there is no account of time. Gwen then sees Max's spirit, the grabber's brother, whom the grabber killed. Max tells her she shouldn't have been here. Whenever Gwen goes into her dream world, her body starts walking in real life. Her real body had reached the basement of the grabber. By then, Finn comes, following Gwen, and she tells him she just talked to their mom.
I was talking to Mom.
It was just a dream.
He ignores her again and takes her back home. Gwen notices blood on her socks, the same ones that got dirty in her dream. It becomes clear that if anything happens in that dream world, it also reflects in the real world. The next day, Gwen shows Finn the posters of the Alpine Lake camp, and says this is a real place. Her dreams weren't meaningless. It's a Christian camp, and he should go there because there's still a vacancy for a counselor in training. Finn tries to ignore it again, but their father Terrence sees the poster and says that their mother Hope used to work there, and it was closed in 1958. Hearing this, both are shocked. Gwen decides to go there with Ernesto. Before leaving, he tells his father not to drink too much while they're gone. All three leave for Alpine Lake, but there's a heavy snowstorm on the way. A car crashes, the road is bad, and nothing is visible. Finn runs ahead of the car to see the road better while the others follow. He finds a girl named Mustang, who takes him to the camp. It's late, so Mustang takes them to their rooms. Finn notices a phone booth outside the camp. Gwen sleeps while Finn goes outside to smoke. Gwen goes back into her dreams and sees a third child whose face is cut in half. His spirit writes the letter H on the lake. The letters W, B, and H now form, but no one knows what they mean. Gwen hears strange voices and sees the three spirits. In the real world, Finn hears the phone booth ringing. He picks it up and says, "No help will be found here," and starts to leave, but the phone rings again. When he picks it up, he hears the grabber's voice saying, "Hell is not fire, but snow. Snow also burns like fire." Even worse, Finn is terrified. It becomes clear that this is not the grabber himself, but his soul. Meanwhile, in her dream world, Gwen sees the three boys' spirits. One tries to enter through a window, but his killer breaks the glass, cutting the boy's face in half. Gwen screams in terror. Finn rushes to her and comforts her as she cries, saying she feels like she's going crazy. He assures her it was just a bad dream. She goes to wash her face and sees wounds on her hand, the same ones from her dream. She later goes to Ernesto, who comforts her. They talk about God and her mother's faith. Gwen fears she'll go insane like her mother, who was very religious and had similar dreams. The next morning, Finn finds out Gwen told Ernesto about her dreams and gets angry, saying she shouldn't share these things. She says he never listens to her, so she had to tell someone. They argue, and Gwen shows him the wound on her hand from her dream. They meet Armando for breakfast, who says the storm might clear in 2-3 days. He asks why they came, as they aren't listed as campers. Finn says they came to find out about their mother and shows him her picture. Armando recognizes her and calls her Starlight. Finn asks about the phone booth. Armando says it has been broken for years. Finn is shocked. How was it ringing then? He tells Gwen and Ernesto about it, saying he heard the grabber's voice. The phone rings again, and this time he hears the voices of the three dead children, saying they are trapped and asking for help. They don't know where they are, only that it's dark and cold. Outside the booth, the spirits of the three children appear, though Finn can't see them. The children's ghosts just want to help Finn. Because of this, he becomes angry and walks away from there. Meanwhile, Gwen and Ernesto go to Kenneth and Barbara, who used to work in the office, to ask them for a document about the camp's history.
Do you have any literature on the history of Alpine Lake?
But Barbara says they don't have any such document. She gets angry at Gwen and they start arguing. So Ernesto takes Gwen away from there. That night, Gwen has another dream. She sees her mother, Hope, talking to the soul of a dead child on the phone. Now Gwen sees the spirits of her mother, Hope, and the three children. She goes outside and witnesses how those three boys were killed. At the same time, Finn hears the phone ring and answers it. The grabber is on the other side. He says that Finn killed him, but does Finn really think it all ended there? No, the grabber has returned to take revenge.
Because you knew we'd be trapped.